get started. So welcome to everyone on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, where we may still get a little more rain. Thanks for joining us for the Inclusive Excellence Council meeting. And as we always start out with our land acknowledgement, and Gabrielle has agreed to read this and read this for us today. So Gabrielle.
Hey everybody. So founded in 1889, the University of New Mexico sits on the traditional homelands of the Pueblo of Sandia. The original peoples of New Mexico, Pueblo, Navajo, and Apache, since time immemorial, have deep connections to the land and have made significant contributions to the broader community statewide. We honor the land itself and those who remain stewards of this land throughout the generations, and also acknowledge our committed relationship to Indigenous peoples. We gratefully recognize our history.
Thank you so much, Gabrielle, and I really appreciate, and we start that way and really kind of ground ourselves in the moment and in the history. So thank you, very much appreciated. Okay, we have our announcements next. So we have some up on slides that we knew about, and then we'll open it up to see what other announcements that people have or things they'd like to share. So the next thing that we'd like to share is a congratulations to Dr. Wandinger-Ness. She was honored in Washington, D.C. With a presidential award for excellence in science, math, and engineering mentoring. And again, just recognizing her lifelong work and mentorship of so many, really actually some generations of our scientists and leaders and cancer researchers. So Dr. Wandinger-Ness, we're just so extremely proud of you and just so appreciative that all of that work and love have been acknowledged. And also, of course, then recently named a UNM Distinguished Professor as well. Congratulations to you. I don't know if you'd like to say a few words, please take the moment. Oops, did we lose Angela? She was on just a second ago.
There it goes.
Oh, there you are. There.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Romero-Leggett. And as you know well, I want to thank you personally, because none of these kinds of awards or recognitions happen without the support and love of your colleagues. So I appreciate you very much for that. The presidential award actually occurred in 2020, but we were invited to come to Washington just a few months ago, and it was really a very special event to have multiple classes of these mentoring awardees there. There were 15 of us total, and there were 270 K through 12 teachers. So really, really proud to be part of this big group of of colleagues who are committed to education, investing our next generation. So appreciate that.
Thank you. Really so excited for you. And then you said something, what room were you in, or what place there at the White House? Or you said it was just absolutely beautiful and special.
We weren't in the White House, but we were in the National Art Gallery. It was an amazing, yeah. So we got to first visit the gallery, but then the actual dinner was under this pavilion that was like 2 or 3 stories high, covered with all these tables. And Ellen Ochoa spoke, who was the first female astronaut. It was so incredible.
Wow. Well, again, congratulations, and very, very excited, and please, wonderful. Okay, so our next, just again, announcement here is for to remind people about, oh, sorry, I'm out of order a little bit. So now we have congratulations to Dr. Flegg. So he has just published his book, Writing to Heal, with the beautiful cover here by Mallory Kotaki. And just a quote here about this book. Again, the writings in here, right? Just such an example of how we can connect to the authentic truth. And this was written, during our COVID time here. And I wanted to just read, Dave Rako, our prior chair for family communities, and did the foreword. And his the last piece that he says there is, he said, the writings in this book, again, are a beautiful example of connecting to the authentic truth. And he said, Dr. Flegg is an artist in connecting people through his kind heart, infectious positive spirit, and beautiful reflections. And through his connection, flow happens. So I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Flegg, have him say a few words about this book, and something, again, just a really beautiful, wonderful publication. So Dr. Flegg, I'll turn it over to you, and congratulations.
Thank you. And again, yeah, everything happens with a community supporting you, including a lot of people on this meeting. And the book, you know, tackles really tough things, white supremacy, from speaking from a white perspective, to joy, gratitude, how to stay grounded. And it kind of reads as a workbook. So if any of our diversity colleagues here think it could be useful as kind of a self-care, wellness, for folks that you work with, please let me know, and we'd be happy to get it into hands as many folks as we can. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Flegg, and again, congratulations. Okay, our next reminder here is for the Title IX training that's coming up for those who are interested, and there's still availability to sign up for this on August 12th. And as you can see here, a little bit of the information here, they're going to be talking about investigations, best practices, advisor training, transgender student and athletes, and sex and gender equity metrics. There will also be some Clery training for those who are advisors. The Free Clery Training Act that training will happen, I believe, the day prior. So for those who would like to get that in as well, that opportunity is there. And just wanted to remind people about that coming up. Okay, and then the next slide is just wanted to share with you some very exciting news about our Center of Excellence Award that we were just awarded from HRSA, which we're just extremely excited about, because this is something that was a huge multidisciplinary collaborative effort, you know, both internally and also externally with our colleagues from across community faculty and across New Mexico. And the primary goal of this program is really to increase our capacity to produce a quality health professions workforce, again, that's representing the racial ethnic diversity of New Mexico. And again, multi-directional, community engaged. We have a faculty component, a student component, a community component, mental behavioral health component, and then of course, evaluation core and Project ECHO working together with us. And, you know, I want to offer my thanks as well to Dr. Zidonis and the dean in their support, and Dr. Aurora from Project ECHO, because they provided tremendous support for FTE for the scholars that will be part of this program, and our National Center for Faculty Equity and for pre-faculty development, so that we can provide opportunities for our faculty as well. So that support was tremendous, and really, I believe, was a big, strong part of this grant. But as you can see here, we have an incredible team of leaders on this, and of course, many others that aren't all listed here, but you'll be hearing more about this coming forth, and just wanted to share that news with you. We're really excited about it and what this means for, you know, not only obviously for our Health Sciences Center, students, faculty, and undergraduates, but also for the state, right? Because we do serve our state, and having a diverse workforce really makes a difference in that, as we know. So really excited about this as well. So thank you. And then we have Dr. Sanchez will take over from here on some the next announcement.
Good day, everyone. So Dr. Romero-Legate mentioned this. For the past 3 years, HSC has been a part of the National Center for Pre-Faculty Development. Greater information on the center can be accessed via that link. Resources through this center are to support really all of our HSC community members, from School of Medicine, College of Pharmacy, College of Nursing, and College of Population Health to consider, especially amongst our learners, the opportunity to serve as our faculty and our senior leaders. So the center is really focused on our learners, who I consider and Dr. Romero-Leggett considers as future faculty or pre-faculty or pre-fac. Through the recent grant that Dr. Romero-Leggett and the team received through HRSA, we are now a Tier 4 member of the National Center. And as a Tier 4 member of the National Center, we'll be able to really take advantage of one of the components of the center, which is the Academic Medicine Writing Fellowship. So everyone should be receiving an email from Allie on how you could apply to be one of 4 fellows for the upcoming year. And the fellowship is primarily to help individuals develop more of a niche in education and complete a scholarly project to be submitted to the journal known as Medit Portal, which is a educational journal. Applications are due actually August 7th. We've extended it to August 7th. We know that this is a short turnaround time. We just learned of receipt of the HRSA grant and therefore quickly drafted the application. And like I said, Ali will be sending it out. Applications are due August 7th and the program actually begins August 19th virtually. Next slide. I also just want to share a book that I was able to edit and co-author along with Dr. Romero-Leggett and Dr. Damon Alvarez, who is a student within the College of Pharmacy when he worked on the content in the book. It is a book that ties to pre-faculty development, but specifically how do we encourage our diverse college and post-bac students to aspire to become future faculty. So it falls into the scope of our pathway work, and we really want to start priming our college and post-bac students to know that they're smart enough to be our future faculty. And this has already been released through Springer. Next slide. And just as a reminder, within the mission of our Office of DEI, many of the co-authors in that book represented the diversity that we want to see within academia. So there's stories and narratives from Native American faculty, from African American faculty, from Hispanic, Latino, Asian faculty, as well as narratives from SGM identified individuals, SGM standing for sexual and gender minorities, as well as many other dimensions of diversity. And this is just a reflection of who the co-authors are. Next slide. And
well, Dr.
lastly,
Sanchez, want to take a moment there, though, and congratulate you on that. I mean, that's, extremely collaborative. It's wonderful work to have done that. And I know you have 2 books out at this point, but really helping to inform our learners, right? And those who are coming to hopefully join us in academia and diversify the academic workforce. But it's such a huge collaborative effort. And, in this second one now, the most recent, the fact that, as you said, the narratives, right? Like, we know just how powerful, how impactful those are, and just working across the nation for those. Just again, a congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. And the other thing to mention is it has narratives from representatives from all of our specialties here. So Dr. DeWitty representing nursing and individuals from public health and pharmacy. So thank you for that. And the last mention is Ali is sending around an email as we go into another cycle of planning the Heritage Month activities. As a reminder, you could participate in the planning committees. You could just submit ideas via email or just submit information on your events. And I think with that, we wanted to afford time for everyone else to share announcements as well.
Yes, and then Doug, I wasn't sure if you had something you wanted to share as well today.
Yes, that'd be great. I don't know, we could take the screen down or the slides down. So I just want to start off with big thanks to Dr. Romero Leggett for her leadership in the IEC, and also, all of you on this call. I love my job. I love living in New Mexico, and you all are really at that cornerstone of what it makes it exciting to be a part of UNM in New Mexico, and just hearing everything up to this moment. And I don't want to single anybody out, but Dr. Flake, it was fun hanging out in the community park as you were signing your book for others. And I know all of you have terrific events, and it's been fun to be a part of running medicine as well as many of your other activities. But really, each of you, as I look at each box and think, wow, what a great group, and you all are making a difference. I wanted to highlight just a couple things coming up. One, we do have a health equity summit that's going to be is planned for the September 19th and 20th. There'll be more word on that. We've been having health equity dialogues and with communities. This Friday we'll be in Gallup. We've been in Las Cruces and Hobbs, and sadly, because of the fires in Las Vegas, we had to delay that. But these have been really wonderful opportunities for all of us. And a number of you on this call have participated, and I'm very grateful for everybody's work, and particularly shout out to Dr. Art Kaufman's heroes. The community health workers in the trench really help us get connected with community. I wanted to also thank Dr. Lindsay Smart and the Faculty Equity Advisor initiative that we're doing, and her leadership in the Cancer Center search. So most people aren't going to know what I say now, but we've narrowed it down to 4 finalists, and those folks will be coming on campus. And it really was a terrific work by that group, and so I'm looking forward to meeting those finalists. JP, how much money does it cost for the medicine writing fellowship?
So it's about $3,000 a fellow, and it's a 2-year fellowship, mentored fellowship program.
Great. Well, I'd love to think if we could do something here. So I'll put a challenge out to you and others that if you could put together a budget proposal for me of something in this space that we could augment, because I do think that topic often doesn't get the kind of support it needs. And so obviously that's why that fellowship is there. But it's just an offer to say, look, if we could double those numbers from 4 to 8, but let me know how that could happen, because I'd love to see more in that space. The deans are all working together with me. I've charged them that we'd like to double our Native American faculty numbers. We are looking at a targeted hire of 12 this coming year. And so that's going to mean your help in helping us identify people to help in the recruitment. Right now we have a posting for the School of Public Health that has 13 new faculty positions. As of this morning, I heard that we have 42 applicants, and perhaps about 5 happen to be Native American, but it's very well balanced in all different ways of diversity. So we're hoping in nursing, and I see our Dean Montoya here, and I know she and Dean Casper are all, trying to get the numbers up in our College of Nursing. So, in every group we want to do better in all ways. The last thing I wanted to comment on is I'm hoping that all of you will provide input as our strategic planning process kicks off in August. And as you know, the UNM 2040 was completed, and one of the 5 priority areas was diversity. So we want to be somewhat in parallel, but have an open forum with how we would do it in health and health sciences. And so there will be forums through task forces and work groups, town halls, idea scale, which is a crowdsourcing way. It's more open, and then anonymous surveys. But the more the voices are heard, the more I think we will be able to continue this journey that you all are making a big difference on. So just wanted to make sure you knew about that. All right, Val, passing it back to you.
Thank you. Really appreciate all of those updates, Dr. Fidonis, and again, the support of the HSC. And we will take that challenge and move forward with that, because that's going to be great to increase the numbers for those positions. So thank you for that. Right now, other announcements or things that people would like to share, please go ahead and speak up, because it's hard to look at the whole screen here. So just go ahead and speak up if you'd like.
So I think I talked with you, Val, before. I've done it in an email, but I wanted to let the group know that the College of Nursing will be participating in a AACN, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, Climate and Environment Survey. They have been doing this for a while, and they have a tool that has really good validity and reliability. So they reached out and got a huge response from a lot of schools wanting to participate. So we will be one of 50 that participate in this. And I just wanted to mention it because I know that we will be starting an HSC one. And so I just wanted you to know that we are also participating in this endeavor. In fact, Dr. DeWitty is leading the effort. We are also bringing in Dr. DeWitty, who is she was the chief diversity officer for AACN, and now she's the chief senior advisor. And so she's still staying on for a while, which we are very fortunate. She will be coming to the College of Nursing, I want to say the 26th of August. We have basically entered into a consultant role with her because our new essentials are very focused on diversity and equity and inclusion. And so she is coming to start leading us in that process. And also over the next year, we will be taking a comprehensive look at our admissions process for holistic admissions. She will be reviewing and advising us in that area. So we are very pleased to go forward. It's taken a while to get her, but I've worked with her for a while now, so she knows me and graciously has agreed to do this. So we're really excited about that.
Excellent news. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Montoya. Really appreciate that, and very excited to be working with her and seeing what happens. Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Ziodonis about the hiring of Native American faculty. Our postdoctoral training program has developed a number of Native American faculty who are elsewhere, and it'd be great to bring some of them home. So if there are some positions in, chemistry, biomedical sciences beyond public health, I would love to know more about that.
Well, we're trying it in health and health sciences, so that means faculty in HISLIC, they have some openings. Melissa might comment on that, but faculty in our basic sciences might be the best fit, or clinical departments that have basic science. So if your folks are mostly basic science, that's kind of where I would think about it. I believe that Dr. Carlet Parra has some openings. So again, I don't know. Some of it would be maybe checking in with the dean's office of which of the basic science departments have openings. I'm aware of some, but probably I'm just not knowledgeable enough of all of them. But it's really for anything in health and health sciences. Public health just happens to have posted it, and I was speaking to Dean Collins early this morning and got an update. But
Thank you.
word of mouth really makes a difference. So the more, and recruiting back people who do their fellowship somewhere. I know the Cancer Center put a major effort on that this past year and has really helped them on some of the hiring and the clinical faculty roles. So your strategy is a really good one.
Thank you, Angela, and Dr. Sidonis. Thank you, Dr. Wandianis, for that good question. Any other? Dr. Reval, do you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Romero-Leggett. I appreciate Dr. Zidonis mentioning the Health Equity Summit in September. And we're going to be supporting the 2022 New Mexico Diversity Summit. We've been holding the summit for a number of years. We've rotated between the University of New Mexico, UNM Gallup, New Mexico Highlands University, and other sites. The 2022 edition will return to the University of New Mexico. It will be a hybrid event. The dates are November 10th and 11th. And thank you, Dr. Romero-Leggett, for allowing me to serve on the planning committee. And the Health Sciences Center will be one of the key partners.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Reval. Okay.
Can I add one more thing? Sorry.
Yes.
Kind of one more thing. So we just hosted the National ARACTA Conference, which is a postdoctoral development program. There are 20 programs in the country for postdoctoral scholars wanting academic careers. That is how I'm referencing the scholars I've trained. But there were two representatives of institutions that have FIRST Awards, which is a faculty cohort hire program. And one of the NIH administrators said, it's looking good for New Mexico. I think there was a FIRST Award put in from main campus. So I think that's also promoting diversity, equity, inclusion at the faculty level. So I think that will be huge if we got one of those.
Thank you so much, Angela, for bringing that up and sharing that with us. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move forward so we can get our report outs.
Just one quick question. I was going to ask Carolyn, what was the timeline of that assessment, that climate assessment?
So it looks like the climate assessment, they have an IRB, but I'm going to have to get an IRB from us to launch it. And it does include faculty, staff, and students. And it looks like we need to actually roll it out in the spring.
Okay. Maybe we can continue to talk offline about it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yes, and right. And we have obviously, we know we have an HSC committee that oversees all of the surveys to coordinate things. Great. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to our committees and report outs. And we're going to start with community engagement first. And Dr. Flegg, thank you too, because I know you're on your way to the airport to start your annual leave. So thanks for that commitment and dedication. So Javier Rios and Anthony Flegg are our co-chairs. Turn it over to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share some of our more recent updates. This is Javier Rios. So we last met in June. We actually are taking a break from meetings. We've been meeting rather regularly over the last couple of months. So we are taking a break July, August, and then we'll reconvene in September. But during our last meeting, a couple of things we discussed were the running medicine summer season started June 27th. So if you're interested in running medicine, Anthony is the expert on all content running medicine, and I'll put that link in the chat. And then also we had some highlights shared from committee members. Rayanne talked a lot about the different programs that are out current for the cancer program. And that included the Summer Cure program, which was working with high school students working in the lab, honoring faculty. They honored faculty in June. The skin cancer free clinic was in Gallup on August 6th. And then the Lobo Cancer Challenge, which everyone can be participating in, is September 24th. I have old numbers, but 172 people had already registered in June. And we do have a flyer for that I can place in the chat. And then Lobos Wear Pink details will be to follow in October. And then, of course, Dr. Roybal did share several different activities, including being at the state capitol with 120 youth. Junior and senior counselors from around the country were engaging in youth leadership and professional development. And then the MLK Youth Leadership Conference, which was in late June with middle and high school students. I also included, so the staff council, and I believe UNM has approved or is on its way to approving Juneteenth, recognizing Juneteenth as an official UNM holiday. It is a federal holiday and it wasn't honored this year. So I think staff council was working on that, and then we supported that with also conversation on recognizing something more formal for Indigenous Peoples Day. So that's a discussion we've been having. And then I think that was the bulk of our meeting. The last thing to share was that a health equity director from Department of Health had questions about needs assessments. And besides UNM Hospital, is there anyone else that was doing those? Rayanne had asked that question. So other than that, I don't think there's any other announcements, but we will be reconvening in September, and then I'll place the flyer for the cancer challenge in the chat, as well as running medicine.
Thank you very much, Javier. Dr. Flake, do you have anything else you'd like to add, or you may not be able to speak?
I can speak, but I have nothing else to add.
Wonderful. Well, you have a wonderful vacation as you go off. And Javier, thank you for the all the updates and the work, to bring a lot of, again, these the community engagement to HSC and share information with us, and again about Juneteenth Day and other efforts here as a university. So really appreciate the work of the Community Engagement Committee. We're going to go ahead and go on to our next committee as well, Academic Development Professional Training, which is Ingrid and Daniel Heck. Ingrid Hendricks and Daniel Heck. And I know Allison is not with us right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Romero-Leggett. I'm going to apologize ahead of time for the visually disturbing nature of my shirt. I did not realize before I got on Zoom what this would do on Zoom. So
Yeah.
it's a little hard to look at. So I apologize for that. I'll try not to move much. We had a small meeting last week talking about some options for professional development. But what I wanted to, and hopefully I won't be stealing Dr. Singh or Dr. Smart's thunder, but they've done a beautiful job with their action plan for the Workforce Development Committee, which I'm also on. And I really liked the way that they had done that and set it up. So I'd asked permission of Dr. Smart to highly plagiarize her material and borrow heavily from that and the structure and how she has that set up. So I think that's going to be a really good format for us to set an action plan and our goals going forward with the committee. And then Dr. Bissell was there as well, and she presented a training that would be probably more, it's specific for faculty and I think residents, called Mentoring and Professionalism and Training, MAP-IT, for anti-racism and allyship. And she just recently shared that with me. So I'm going to be going over the material that she sent to see if that might be a good professional development opportunity here at HSC. So the Zucker School of Medicine, I guess, is doing this, and they had applied for a grant to get this training brought to their school. And so she had shared that information with us. So we'll be looking through that to see if it's something that might be helpful here at HSC. That's all I have. I don't know that Daniel's here, so that's what I have for my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ingrid and Daniel and your team, your wonderful committee. And yes, I love that, everything, we're sharing, right? We're sharing information and not needing to always recreate. So I love the wonderful cross-disciplinary work that's happening here. So thank you for that. I'm excited. I'll be waiting to hear more of what you hear from the training, from Dr. Bissell, and how we can continue, to support that. If that's a possibility here as well, please let us know. And And your shirt, I can't tell. It's not making me dizzy or anything. So I think we're good. Thanks for the work of the committee. Very much appreciate it. And then we have workforce development. So nice segue into Dr. Smart and Dr. Singh.
All right, I'll get us started and then Dr. Singh can jump in and fill in gaps. The main work of our committee has still been very much in the planning phases, but I feel like this is going to give us a good foundation to move things forward. Our group also has grown a little bit from the hiring practices work that we did with the White Coats for Black and Indigenous Lives efforts. We have brought in the hiring practices individuals as a content expert. So when and if we get to specific things within workforce development that may impact hiring, we can utilize the joint efforts of the two groups there. We started, I think if we go back and think about the minutes from this, we started with thinking we would come up with a workforce definition, just trying to understand, while we have an institutional workforce definition, what is it that we mean with regards to development and workforce more directly for our activities. And that task was so challenging that we have made it into a plan of action as opposed to a definition. And the goal of this plan of action, it's in a form that close between now and I think the next IEC meeting, which hopefully is not in more closer than a month, be ready for folks to have some feedback on, is the goal of our group, the objectives, and really thinking of at this point, I think we have about 4 specific areas, thinking about patient care, research, education, and community engagement. And we added a 5th, which at this point we're calling ancillary personnel, which would be individuals who may cross-cut or sit slightly separate from those other mission areas, but are very much integral to the running of our institution. So with that plan of action, one of the pieces that our group talked about was needing to get a little bit of a broader voice and pulse on professional development from you all, and then in a snowball technique, anybody in your networks that you feel could provide some information on a very short needs assessment survey that is asking just a few very specific questions about workforce areas and training needs and preferences and priorities that you feel based on the spheres within you work would be helpful for us to incorporate into our action plan. So hopefully after today's meeting, we'll get that link out and start to gather information that would give more voice than just our IEC subcommittee or committee, which is, of course, actually has a broad representation across the system, but I think could still benefit from some additional input from HSC folks. So I'll pause there and see if Dr. Singh would like to add some other pieces to that.
No, I think you got pretty much everything there. I think, again, you hit upon the diversity and the spectrum of everyone in the group, which really broadens up the definitions of workforce and also broadens what they're hoping to achieve through the coalition that's currently formed. So speaking to what was shared before, I think some of the rubric that's been laid out most excellently by you was talking about the needs, the stakeholders, where the gaps are, how we're going to measure success, and what does a timeline look like for success. So for each of the groups that have been engaging us with slightly different perspectives, all describing the large elephant that is the workforce, I think we've all asked them back to really engage their peers to make sure that we're having a diverse view, a comprehensive view, and that we have some real concrete things that we can take away from our meetings and our engagements.
Wonderful. I'm really excited about this survey going out and what we're going to see back. And this is something that will go out here today or tomorrow, and again to be widely shared. Dr. Smart and Dr. Singh are saying, we want as much feedback as possible. And I really appreciate, like you said, you started one place and then realized, well, wait a minute, let's get some, other feedback. And this is kind of a bigger thing than we were thinking before. So I really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the collaborative efforts here for this committee. So thank you very much. And then we'll go to to Climate and Culture with Dr. Crandall and Dr. Salazar, who I know Dr. Salazar isn't with us today. And after this last committee report, we'll of course still have time for any questions, answers, and a little bit of discussion as well. Dr. Crandall?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. As you all probably remember, we have put out a bid and selected Rankin and Associates to be our consulting partner to help us with a comprehensive climate assessment for the HSC campus. We have been meeting with sort of an executive group to get everything kind of kicked off and then getting invites out to the group. So the timeline for this entire project really starts kind of now. We've been doing this pre-planning work, getting things together, but we'll start really in earnest in September, and we'll have a number of initial meetings. So some of you may actually be meeting with Rankin when they actually come on campus. I think that date is going to be September 12th, and they'll be meeting with the leaders to ensure that everything is sort of, the key partners are understanding what's going to happen and that they're on board. The project, this climate assessment, actually has multiple phases, and it really divided up into 5 different phases. This first phase is really the planning meetings as well as the focus groups, and we're planning on holding 20 focus groups, and that date is going to be November 14th. And so I would just try and kind of tag that, put that on your calendar, hold that date. There'll be these 20 groups, and certainly everyone will have the opportunity to participate in one of these groups to share their comments and concerns around the climate issues. Following that, we'll be developing a survey which will be deployed in around March or the spring. So that's why I was kind of curious with what the College of Nursing is doing, because it's maybe around the exact same time. So we'll have to figure out how to make that work and not have that not be confusing. Then they'll complete that up with the analysis and report back over into the fall. The important thing that folks should all know is that the IEC itself forms really a leadership group for the climate assessment. So it's the climate assessment working group, and there'll be a number of expectations and tasks for that group. The time commitment is not overwhelming. We're hoping to have, at least up front, we'll have some 3-hour monthly meetings for a few months, and then we'll decrease in intensity as time goes on. We'll start with a more intense, and we'll go down to really only like 1 hour meeting at the end, near the end of the project per month. So others that can participate as well. I can't remember what the term was that we called it, the reaction panel. Do you guys remember the name?
Yeah, reaction or response panel.
So for those that are not a member of the IEC, we'll still have the ability to have input through participating in comments on the materials that they've developed, as well as sort of just general comments about the overall assessment plan. I'm not sure we have much more to speak about the climate assessment at this point, but again, the dates are going to be focus groups on November 14th. And Rankin and Associates will be on campus. We believe that's going to be on September 12th. So that'll be for the leaders. All right, is anything else that my other executive team members have that we haven't covered?
I think that was good, Dr. Crandall. That was a good summary. And I know Allie is going to give us a little bit of information on how that impacts the IEC meetings, going forward, right? Because we're trying to balance, allowing people to do their committee work, being part of this new climate survey working group, and then our council meetings, which we are going to spread out and decrease in time to, again, try to balance things for all of us. But prior to Ali doing that here, are there any questions for any of the committee chairs, committee reports that we've just heard now? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. I'm not hearing from anyone right now. So Ali, do you want to share with us, and again, deep gratitude to Ali for keeping all of us kind of organized here and everything. Like, this is a huge task, not only for this Inclusive Excellence Council and all of what you've seen on the website and, our our IEC members and everything, but now to trying to plan this HSC-wide 16-month-long endeavor with Rankin and Associates for our climate survey. So Ali, kudos and deep, deep appreciation to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy I can help. Many of you are getting many emails from me, so a lot of what I'll share is probably not new information. But we are adjusting the IEC meeting schedule to help kind of offset some of those climate survey meetings. The main thing to know is that this meeting that we're in now will continue to be every other month, the last Tuesday of the month, but we are shortening it to 1 hour instead of an hour and a half. And then we have some of the smaller group meetings, check-ins. That schedule has been adjusted as well. The calendar invitations for all of those have been adjusted already. So you should have on your calendar the meetings that you are supposed to attend. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about those. I think other than that, that's all I can think of right now. But feel free to reach out if any questions come up. Oops, you're on mute.
I had to mute myself there. Thank you, Ali. And any other questions at this time? Okay. Anything else that anyone else would like to bring up or discuss right now before we have a little bit of closing here? I wanted to just very much appreciate our last training session that we had on for sexual orientation, gender identity last time was just amazing. And I wanted to give people like a little bit of an uptake and preview here that at our next IEC meeting, Dr. Krista Dominguez Salazar from College of Pharmacy, DEI Executive Officer, will be sharing a beautiful example of another component and really a vital component of diversity. And that's kind of the artistic side of things that people bring to this HSC and to their lives and work. So tune in for that, because that'll be basically our sharing and piece next IEC meeting. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to just take another scan here, see if there's anything else, hands up or otherwise. And again, a thank you to everybody, because, we have our, committee co-chairs, we have IEC members, we have everyone who's part of committees, and those who join us who may not be part of committees, but are very interested and part of the work that we do across the health sciences. And I just want to thank you for that and for joining and being part of this process, because it does take a village. And especially as we try to make transformative changes, it takes all of us. So I really appreciate that. Again, the next meetings on the calendar are on the website as well. And please share that and encourage any others, to join us. And just thank you very much to all of you. And it'll be nice. Well, actually, everyone gets 5 minutes back that maybe you didn't plan for, and we can end a little bit early, but mil gracias and really deep appreciation. Thank you, guys. Take care. Thanks, everyone.